the mail. I don't have much time. Um, I wanted to say that when I think that Gorgo Beach, that he's the serial killer, the one they found after 11 or 13 years or whatever. And I hope they find definitive evidence. That's what I'm hoping. Like in his home, or what they did find in his home was an arsenal of 200 firearms. They were shocked at that. But they make mistakes on the news sometimes, and they said we that's why we didn't want to get him in his home. We wanted to get him outside his office where he wasn't at home with all the fire. But that doesn't make sense because you weren't allowed to search his home, right? You didn't search his home before you arrested him. You searched it afterwards. So things don't make sense. But I'm going to tell you something. The reason I believe he did it is not because, of his looks, because you could be the nicest person in the world and look like him, okay? It's because of the different things I'm hearing. We're not hearing from his wife. Is he divorced? We're not hearing from his kid. We know he was married. It says married and kids. Is he still married and kids? I don't know. It's because of the evidence they do have. Not just that DNA, but it's really, I'm going to tell you something. I feel like when they spend this long, they can't get you for over years, so decades or over a decade, whatever, that they're not going to pursue it unless they're really confident they have a case. See? When it takes this long, that's how I feel. So they feel like they have enough evidence to present a case, and then they have that they got the DNA off the pizza box that he ate, the pizza he ate. These days they can do that, and it matches a strand of hair on the victim or the burlap bag or whatever. But really, I'm hoping they find definitive evidence. Really definitive evidence. Like, the serial killers are cocky. They like to keep trophies of the people they kill, their victims, and but that's why. And also, I got to hear from one of his colleagues or somebody, and she was really creeped out by him. It's probably when he was married. If maybe he's still married, I don't know. The thing is, when you have unsolved murders, you know somebody did it. See, you know somebody did it. Sometimes they don't have enough evidence, and they're suspicious. Sometimes they don't even have a clue. But obviously, they just didn't have enough until now. See? They probably were keeping an eye on him for a long time. Who knows? They might have been suspicious of him a decade ago, but they didn't have enough evidence to pursue it. They had to do it behind the scenes. That happens. But I tend to not have the innocent until proven guilty mindset when it takes this long, because I feel like they obviously didn't rush into it, and I feel like they had to wait, and that's how I feel. But also, I got to hear a really pretty coworker of his say that he creeped her out because they would talk sometimes on some kind of networking call or something, and then she left because he creeped her out. And then he called her anyways, like, yeah, I saw you were gone, but I really want to still talk to you. And if he's married, I mean, I think he did it. I think he did it. But now they're searching meticulously his home. I'm wondering, I guess online I probably find out if he's more details, if he's still married, or they're searching his home. They found 200 firearms in the basement, right? And, but really what they're looking for is a trophy. That's what they like to do. And they like to think they can get away with it. But his colleague said he would talk about those murders. Like, why? Well, they were in the news. I mean, this was when it first happened, but still, it's a man talking to this woman, and it creeped her out. I guess it was over a call or one of those things online, Skype things. I don't know what it was, but I do know she was creeped out and she left, and he actually contacted her. Yeah, I'm surprised you left. I know you left. I heard you left the group, but I really still want to talk to you. yeah, stay away from me. You already creeped me out, you know? Oh, that's my mindset. But others, when they find somebody immediately, and you know, sometimes you have to give them the benefit of the doubt, because there are people who are wrongly convicted of even heinous crimes. In the Green Mile, he was wrongly convicted, and he was on death row, and he didn't do it. But he had some mental problems. I loved that movie. I loved it. I read the book too. He had some mental problems, and plus he was gifted, and they thought that he had killed them when he said, I couldn't stop it, but he has special powers, and that's what he meant, that he couldn't stop it, you know. They just assumed that he did it, and which I understand, they find him with the dead kids' bodies, but really he was crying that he couldn't stop it, he couldn't save them, because his gift is to make people, I guess, younger than they are, but not when they're already dead. You can't bring them back from the dead. Like he made the mouse who likes to roll the ball. And the mouse was living forever. He made that mouse come back to life, I guess, at one point. But once they're dead, you can't bring them back, even with his special gifts. Even when we watch movies where alien people or whatever can heal us humans, they can't bring us back from the dead. We have to still have some life in us. So, that movie I recently watched for like the third time. The first time was in the movie theaters. The Host. Oh, I just realized recently that that's Saoirse Ronan, because that was over a decade ago, I think. That was quite some time ago. Sorry with that dog woman who admittedly liked animals way more than she liked people. I even said, you like to watch Dexter, which is about murder and serial killing and all that, but you love animals. She's like, yeah. No need to elaborate, right? She paid thousands of dollars, and she was poor. I mean, she wasn't that money any more than we do here. I mean, Mom. She paid thousands on her credit card to try to save her elderly dog who died anyway. That's what people do. Never gonna get over this with Omar, and that wouldn't be the case if he had died after having, you know, or in an accident, or if I had to have him euthanized, you know. But to die suddenly like that is really, really fucking with my obsession. Which only exasperates the grief I would feel regardless of how he died. He's still gone. He's still, you know. And I can intellectualize till the cows come home. Millions upon millions of pet parents go through this, Laura, and they can even go through it with younger dogs. You have to appreciate that you got to have your baby for nearly 16 and a half years. Even though you weren't expecting him to die, nobody was, not like that. Doesn't make any sense. He didn't die, you know, several months ago, 5 months ago, whenever that was, when he was weak, and then put on that convention, whatever, and that knocked him out for what, a day or something, and he didn't think he was even going to return to life. He didn't even know what was happening. All of that compounded, and intellectually I know it. So I guessed, I was like, ooh, you're good, Laura. I didn't pick on the voice who I wrote down who I wanted to win, but I also wrote down who I thought not would win, but would move on to the finals, the 5. And I was right. I got it. The ones that I didn't think would move on didn't. The 5 I thought would did. I didn't think 15-year-old, super young, just a babe in the woods, Riley Tate. They're all phenomenal singers. Phenomenal. Like, mind-blowingly good. You could hear some of them on records. But the 5 that I thought would move forward did, and the 3 that I didn't think didn't. I did not think that Ray Urel would move forward. I did not think that Holly Brand would move forward. And I did not think that Riley Tate would. Because as good as those 3 are, the 5 that did move forward were phenomenal. And I'm watching them be picked, because it's audience. It's not by judges, it's audience. I get screwed.